Sun-Jupiter combinations. This is a great combination. This is actually one of my favorite combinations. And why is that? Because we get the leadership, the inspiration, the power of the sun supported by Jupiter, which is a planet of opportunity, of grace, of wisdom. And the sun is also said to be a planet that deals with our intelligence. It's the planet of our innate intelligence. And so when we take Sun-Jupiter combinations, what we're essentially doing is we are combining the capacity for our intelligence to do what it needs to do, to shine brilliantly, along with the wisdom of Jupiter. And when you have wisdom and intelligence together, that's really ideal. In the same way that it's best to have logic and wisdom together, because logic by itself, they become what you call dry polemics. Dry polemics. It's a great word, isn't it? And that's when you get people who are interested in spirituality, dry polemics, that is. When you get people who are interested in spirituality or a particular viewpoint, and they can argue it like there's no tomorrow. They're the best debaters ever, but it's all just dry polemics. It's all just words, and it's all just logic. There's no soul to it. There's no passion to it. There's no deeper understanding. And the reason this is important is because, especially for things like spirituality or astrology or anything that has a real value in the world to help guide humanity and so on, there's more to it than the mind. The problem with humans is being caught up in the mind. And Jupiter is beyond the mind. Jupiter is the wisdom of transcendence, even, similar to Ketu in that regard. So you get Sun, Jupiter, Ketu together. Well, that's an amazing combination for things like having deep insights. But the problem is they're not insights that can be understood by people who are caught up in logic and dry polemics, because those people just want the formula, right? But they don't want to realize there's more to it than the formula. In the same way that in many of the stories dealing with Jupiter, he'll do things that you think to yourself, wow, this is Jupiter, the most benefic planet, and he told a lie to get what he wants. So it's kind of funny, and the whole point is that with Jupiter, his idea, his role is bringing about the best, most auspicious thing possible. And if he has to lie to do that, now not to manipulate, but if he's dealing with someone, he has to lie to do that. He'll fudge the truth a little bit, not terribly, but a little bit, so that the result gets to where it needs to be. So if you study texts dealing with Jupiter and stories about Jupiter, you'll find this to be true, which I've always found fascinating. But Jupiter delighting the sun, it's a wonderful combination. Now this really makes a person intelligent and wise. We talked about Sun and Mercury, but Sun and Jupiter, this is the primo combination. And why is that? Because the sun is leadership, activity, inspiration. You put Jupiter there, the person enthusiastically leads others. The person is supportive of others and their goals. The person is thoughtful. The person has amazing advisory skills. So they're good at being things like, spiritual teachers, or any kind of role that requires that you give advice, consulting advice. It's a great combination for wealth. Because it shows a person's going to put their wealth towards royal things. And it shows that, if we think about the sun being the government or the king or corporations, that person's going to be supported by those things for wealth. So this is an excellent combination for investments, especially if, this is falling in good dignity in a person's fifth house. As far as the Logitati of Vashta goes, this is Jupiter delighting the sun, or it's called mudita. The Logitati of Vashta of mudita. And anything that these planets are influencing, either by sign or by house placement, tends to get bigger and better, tends to be extremely creative, to generate a lot of potential, a lot of income, possibly. The sun is our inspiration to achieve, what we're meant to achieve. And putting Jupiter with the sun, this gives us joy in achieving that thing. So whatever house this is in, you're going to find that you're going to have a lot of joy achieving in that house, generally speaking. Overall, it creates a very contented person. And why is that? Because Jupiter allows the sun to appreciate his purpose and to see that purpose has lasting meaning. It's one of the difficult things with reading a chart is that A person can have a purpose, but if their chart is set up in such a way that they can't appreciate that purpose or that meaning, it doesn't matter what they achieve or what they do. At the end of the day, they're still going to feel like, oh, well, that was worthless. Even though who knows what kind of positive benefit that would have. You get someone with a Saturn-Mars combination, especially nailing their ascendant. Well, they're going to have a real hard time appreciating their value in the world. You give them Jupiter and Sun somewhere, that might help out a bit. But overall, this Jupiter-Sun combination gives a person a sense of purpose, a healthy sense of self-esteem, and it allows them to see the bigger picture of their role within the world. And that focus is going to deal with primarily the house in which this combination falls. In the apprenticeship courses that we've been doing at Asheville Vedic Astrology, we do them about 2 months. So, for example, this year we've done 3 of them. They've been 2 months in length. But during the apprenticeship course at Asheville Vedic Astrology, one of the things we're learning is how to qualify these kinds of yogas. So, for example, if we have some cruel planets Rashi aspect in the sign in which this is occurring, there could be some difficulty to that giving its full benefit, its full grace. If we have benefic planets Rashi aspecting the sign that these fall in, that's going to make it work even better. All right, so when you're thinking about these, remember that I'm giving you a general understanding of each combination, but they have to be qualified, based on the dignity of the planet. They have to be qualified based on the aspects to these combinations and so on, and the ascendants. We have to take that into consideration. So if you want to learn more about that, consider looking into our apprenticeship programs or into the downloadable courses available at Asheville Vedic Astrology. And I only say that because I know a lot of you want to ask me questions through YouTube about what does this mean that I have this. Well, there's a lot to interpreting these things. So either get a session and we'll nail it down. We'll go through all the things that contribute to this, because this is just a general assessment, or learn astrology yourself. There's plenty of free videos on this channel. I'm trying to do that as much as possible. There's plenty of downloadable classes available at AshevilleVedicAstrology.com. And then we have the apprenticeship course running, which is open to about 30 students at a time per class. So you've got opportunities. And if you've got a Sun-Jupiter combination, I would love to have you in class because I know you're going to be intelligent, you're going to be wise, you're going to be able to see varying viewpoints and not say one is better than the other. You're going to be able to see the merits of both of them. You're going to have a great capacity to be a speaker and a writer, which is important to me, through these apprenticeship programs. Because the goal is to train astrologers who can speak clearly, coherently, who can write well, who can give good advice, who know when they don't know what they're supposed to say and they don't say it. And what I mean by that is when they don't know what to say, they keep their mouth shut. Because one of the problems with astrologers is they act like they're supposed to know everything. So what ends up happening is someone asks them a question, and because they think they're supposed to know everything, they just say something, whether it's true or not. And one of the important things about being an astrologer is realizing that you don't know everything. And Jupiter and Sun combinations gives you the wisdom and the intelligence to speak when you are certain. And when you don't know, to have the courage to say, it's not clear, so I can't help you at this point in time. And sometimes that's a lot better than running your mouth when you don't really know what you're talking about, which can happen a lot, in astrology, because of that idea that we're supposed to know everything and we don't. So Sun-Jupiter combination, it's a wonderful combination for expansiveness, for greater opportunities, for creativeness, for using one's intelligence and wisdom in a very appropriate way. Okay, so next up we'll be looking at Sun-Venus.